here from Infrared Heating Ireland. I'm sat with Rob. Rob's a client of ours from Oman Beverley Smyth here in Kildare. He's kindly, busy guy, but he's given me his time here to just give some feedback to the installation we completed. So quite a big building here. What is it, 2 or 3 years now since we...
3.
So 3 years ago, Rob would have contacted me and we would have put together a package for him. Maybe just tell us the story what you were using to heat the building, and maybe why you chose to look at infrared.
We were looking at various different options about upgrading the building, upgrading the heating system that was in the building because it was becoming inefficient, the boiler, capital investment, and we started looking at how we could maximize the efficiencies in the building, trying to stay in line with the requirement for people and how we could keep them, while a lot of people were working from home, when they came into the office, comfortable. So, and without spending a huge amount of money on the capital infrastructure in order to be able to upgrade the building. So that was what we were doing.
Yeah. So we would have then looked at the building, put together a spec. I think we've installed, give or take, around 45 infrared panels throughout the building. A lot of large open office spaces. So we would have looked at room by room, looked at ceiling height, floor area, and the work commenced. But let me ask you, why, or did you have prior knowledge to infrared before, or how did you find out about us?
We did a lot of research, and we found you in particular on the internet, but we found the product, and the product seemed to be hitting a number of tick boxes in order to be able to be efficient, be localized within the building, and manageable. Yes. And that's the one thing that we found very, very difficult with our previous supply of gas, and the unmanageableness, if that's the right word, of how you buy a big bulk piece of fuel, and over a period of time it just burns away without any control.
And how old was the gas system?
The gas system would have been plus 15 years of age. We would have had a number of accreditations. We were looking at re-accrediting or recertifying the gas boiler. And when we were looking at the boiler, there were so many advancements in the technologies around heating a building that the boiler wasn't just one option. It wasn't it was the only option at the time when we were when the building was put together. But it, over a period of time, started to go down through the pecking order and become less attractive.
So you were kind of, do I reinvest and upgrade the gas system? But then you have to look at pipe work, rads, controllability was a big thing as well, and then upgrading the burner. So that would have been a big outlay, and then you chose to go down the road of infrared.
Yes, quite an awful lot of the conversation around the re-kitting out of the gas boiler and BTUs and the size of what we needed in order to be able to have the building satisfied by way of a unit that would completely heat everything and then localize everything. It wasn't that it was confusing or even too expensive. It was just that it was actually almost past its sell-by date as we were talking about it. Certainly there were a lot of factors at the time that led us to lean towards and ultimately make the decision that infrared was the right thing to do, based on the type of heat that it emits, based on the localization of the units that could be switched on and switched off in each individual room as they were being used, because as I mentioned, the work from home criteria at the time meant that a number of our people were not necessarily in the location where they needed to be, or where the business needed them to be, yet the business needed to be able to satisfy the whole room or the whole building being heated at the same time.
What size is the building?
6,000 square feet.
Okay, so quite a big building. Do you have any idea of kind of what you were spending with gas per year?
We were doing approximately 10,000 euros just in gas, and that might ebb and flow based on the year that was in it. Okay. Some of the colder years were really, really, really heavy.
we're talking about when 2022, 23, so gas prices were reasonable.
Yeah.
So that's based on a 2022, 2023. We've seen the electricity prices go up as well. But when you kind of compare the two, so you're spending that kind of money, and so we would have come in and installed a system. We've done it in phases, which I think was an advantage as well for outlay, that we could do, half the building now. I think we're doing it in 2 or 3 phases. Yeah. And then you could manage cash flow that way, and you have it on your phone, so you can manage it through your phone and see what's happening.
Yep.
So just how did you find that?
Well, the app makes it very convenient.
Okay.
Also, because the app gives you the control of identifying who's in the building and where you want the zones to be turned on and off, it's really quick. To go back to the phased implementation, we were able to phase the install based on the capital cost of the purchase of the items and the works that were involved with putting them in. We were able to switch on and switch off as we needed. We didn't have to do it all at one point. And that was a very attractive point of sale at the time. But I still go back to the fact that the difference between the capital infrastructure of one item over the other item was significant, and helped us with the decision of going with your product, because it gave us, well, yes, the staged payment, yes, the staged implementation, but the instant workability of it too. That was very, very good. And the instant satisfaction of the individual crew or staff members that were within the building, recognizing that, there's no disruption.
And so we have it now 2 years here, 3 years. It is somewhat hard to compare exactly savings payback. We've discussed that before. When we came in here, we were chatting about that. But there's no doubt when you factor in that you've since added solar. So maybe before we move on to kind of payback and stuff, and maybe just compare, well, maybe not so quickly jump to the solar, but even on its own, using infrared compared to gas. So you were spending 10 grand a year on gas.
Yeah. So I suppose leading out of 2017, 18 and 19, we were on a mission to go with anything that was ESG in order to be an awful lot more compliant and in line with what our customers were demanding of us, to be more efficient, but also as a business to be more efficient in terms of how we spent our money and what solid fuels, or in this case gas, we were using. So electric was a big push, and it was a momentum that we got caught up in. And not that there was anything wrong with it. I mean, when we should do is we should look at how much we could actually save with the solar panels. Some time ago, we looked at the solar panels on the basis of what the payback would be. And you're right, let's leave the payback as another thing, because payback is a saving. It's not pay. You're just not paying it out. Between the two products, though, by the time we got the installation of the heating in and we switched it on, and then ultimately put the solar panels on the roof, we found that we were actually using our own power. Now, yes, there's an arc of how much you can earn or how much you can how much you can generate from your own roof. And in the winter, you're going to get very, very low returns, almost zero. And then in the summer, you're going to get a whole load back. Using the aggregated way in which we can contribute to the grid and then pull from the grid based on our annual turnover of generated power and the amount of power that we're using from within the building, it balances out. And it balances out in a positive sense for us, to the extent that we're very satisfied with, one, the product, and two, the actual payback.
Because then we spoke about, you've eliminated maintenance. you have, you mentioned earlier on about that you've one utility or one.
So we only have to have an electrician come in to
Yes.
look at what we have, as opposed to the electrician and the plumber. Now, not saying that there'll never be a plumbing issue, but not with our gas, and certainly not with recommissioning a piece of kit that actually requires mechanical engineering on it. And then management, certification, and protection around what would be a fairly dangerous piece of fuel.
So I think we can maybe agree to summarise and finish up would be, regardless of solar, you're still benefited by moving away from gas in terms of cost.
Yes, I think we did. Yeah.
And then the added bonus was that you invested in the solar, which meant that you've substantially reduced your overall electric bills, and the solar has soaked up the cost to run the heaters.
Yes, and there's another minor thing that I think people don't necessarily get about infrared, is when you're in the building, there's a couple of things that we did our research on, and you helped us in terms of answering the questions. It was the ionization. I think generally there's a better feeling of the type of heat that it generates. We don't feel like we've got that mid-afternoon lag when the heating is on, and people are kind of brought down. And then the items that are in the room, you can't leave a chocolate biscuit on the table because it will melt. So that's an experience thing.
I hope you're being, because I hope that's not true. But
No, it's not. I'm joking. But the point is, if you are beside a radiator, all you're getting is that radiated heat that's coming in from you, and it's there, it's localized.
Yeah.
But the way in which the ionization and the infrared works is it broadens out your heat spectrum, and it actually heats everything else around you as well. So you're not just getting the radiated heat from the radiator pushing that circulation of air.
Yes.
You're actually getting the radiated heat into what is an inert object as well. So when you come in and you sit down in a building and you're sitting down, you kind of put your hand on a cold desk, it's actually cold. Whereas when the IR is on, it actually takes the chill out of everything.
And I suppose that's a good observation. We would see that a lot. So you have two ways to transfer heat. You have convection, which is a rad heating the air, door is open, the heat's gone. Then you have IR, which is on the ceiling because it can radiate. So it's hitting surfaces. The surfaces absorb the heat. So when you come into the room, the air is being heated because the surfaces, not because the air is being heated. So we would see that a lot, where people would find it more of a natural heat. There's less air movement, it doesn't dry the air, less dust movement, so it's a nicer working environment.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Which is good, thanks for bringing it up. So finish off, anybody maybe that never heard of infrared that's considering it, what would you say?
Give you a call. Am I on commission? I would recommend it. I see no obstacle whatsoever. There's a lot of aesthetics to a radiator on the wall, because when you're walking in or you're around it, you see these things and they're in the way. With kids, I would say, particularly in a home environment, the radiators, they can sometimes be that hot. They don't.
They won't burn, but
they won't burn. But it's still dangerous. With these things that are out of the way, it's just a concept thing to put it in the roof.
I agree. Yeah.
So put it on the wall, put it on the roof. Nobody's sitting there looking at them like this all the time.
Well, what we notice is that I suppose, we're moving on. Like a lot of Scandinavian countries have adapted infrared. It's becoming more popular here. When you come into the room, people visualize a radiator on the ceiling. That's not necessarily how it is. It's out of your eye line. So unless you draw attention to somebody and say, well, actually, that's the heating, they probably would never have even seen it in the room.
So I would highly recommend it.
Yeah.
I think there's a number of other products that are coming out as well that we've seen over the last while, mirrors, etc. And we keep an eye on what's evolving.
Yes.
And I'm sure they're becoming much more efficient in terms of panel sizes too. I mean, we've got a substantial amount of them, and they're all working. We've had no problems with them whatsoever. Yeah, highly recommend it.
Okay. Listen, Rob, thanks for your time. I know you're
very
busy,
welcome.
but great conversation. Thanks again.